Hey geeks, and so the question that I want to ask today is it finally game over for DEI and wokeness in modern gaming? Well, I think now we have a more definitive answer based upon a lot of some recent things that have happened in the gaming industry, with the first being some really epic failures of some big modern games. Games such as Star Wars Outlaws, Suicide Squad Kill, the Justice League, Dragon Age, the Veilguard, and probably the biggest one is Concord. And there's also been some big failures for other smaller games as well. And this is not a good thing, I think, for any gaming company. And the fact that this has been happening like basically back to back on these modern games is definitely not a good thing. But even bigger than that is what's been happening over the past few years, because a lot of these gaming companies have really scaled back or even shut down some of their DEI departments and initiatives. And just understand that whenever these games come out, they've been in development for many, many years. You know, things like Dragon Age and Veilguard was like nearly 10 years. Concord was 8 years. And so game development takes a very long time. So something that was, I guess, current at the time that the game was being made is probably not current now. And so some of those things are just now catching up. And we notice here in late 2024, going into 2025, it's not just gaming companies, it's the entertainment industry, it's other businesses in other verticals where they're putting less emphasis or even completely removing their DEI, ESG, things like that, you know, and that's not by accident, because it seems like with every business vertical that this is in, there's a very high percentage that they're losing money. And that is the most important thing. At the end of the day, these businesses, they honestly don't really care as much about the customers, the consumers, the people who are buying their products and services as we'd like to think, even though we are vocally telling them that, hey, we don't want to have these things in our products and services, in our games, whatever the case might be. But at the end of the day, it's all about the money. And whenever people tell these companies with their wallets and with their money, that's when they start listening, and that's what's happening. And that's why I could say, at least right now, I kind of feel DEI, wokeness, ESG, all these things is basically dying in modern gaming. However, I think this might be a temporary thing. And the reason why I say that is, well, it's not a mistake that all of these companies, gaming companies, in other business verticals, in entertainment, and many other businesses, there was a reason why all of them were doing this. You know, a lot of people would say, oh, it's investments for BlackRock and Vanguard. Yeah, that's true. But there's probably other reasons as well. And if you pay attention, you know, well, they typically will not do these things for a while until things settle down, and then they'll bring it back in a different way. Because obviously, since so many of these businesses were doing it, then they really wanted to do it for whatever reasons that they had. And that's why I kind of feel like, at least right now, maybe 2025, in the next few years, you might not hear as much about DEI, wokeness, or even these elements in gaming. But believe me, these companies, so many of them were heavily invested in this, and I think it will make a comeback in a different form. And in some cases, it might not go away completely. But at least here in the near term, I think more of the newer games, especially those that are being developed now and are going to be released in a few years later, they're probably going to do really well. And then some of the big hit games that we've had is like Black Myth Wukong, we had Stellar Blade, and then here recently we have Path of Exile 2, and many other games. You know, I'm not a huge modern gamer, that have been released that don't have as many of those DEI, wokeness elements, or even any at all. And they are performing well, especially if they're focusing on what gamers want, you know, providing a great game, you know, providing awesome graphics, sound, all those things. But at the end of the day, it's always providing great games. And that's something that's been around way before the internet, since the beginning of the games. And I think as these game companies, game developers go back to those base foundations, and most importantly, they start making money, then we as gamers benefit. And so, at least for now, I think it is the end of DEI wokeness, ESG, all those things, but it's not going away completely. I think it's going to come back in some form. We'll just have to wait and see when that happens. So if you actually had any thoughts on this, be sure to leave in the comments area below, and I'll see you on another episode. Hey geeks, if you are a brand new creator and you simply want something easy to get you started, well, I got something for you with my Creator Starter Kit. This is a super simple step-by-step guide that's going to take you from having no channel to developing your very first YouTube channel, along with ideas, thumbnail designs, and other creator tips, including marketing. And the best part is, all of this is free. Simply head over to the link below, check out my page, and get started creating.